I wish we were still going to karaoke,
I
but yeah,
know. I know. Someday soon. Someday soon. There are ways. I'll just say there are ways, right?
there are
Um,
ways.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Educative Sessions, a podcast series with people in the developer world about their coding experiences. My name is Ling O, and this is powered by Educative, which makes it easy for authors to provide interactive and adaptive courses for software developers. Today, my guest is Alix Han, who is a UX designer based in the Seattle area. And the question she really keeps asking every single person on her teams: what problem are you trying to solve? Alix, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lee. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Hanging in there?
Hanging there. I wish we were still going to karaoke,
I
but yeah,
know. I know. Someday soon. Someday soon. There are ways. I'll just say there are ways, right?
there are
Um,
ways.
so let's jump right in. I want to talk about your history and experience as a UX designer, especially within the tech world that you are in now. How did you first get into this world, and what were your impressions?
Wow, I first got into this world by stumbling upon it. I made a little website and I really wanted to be a designer. And somehow I got lucky. uh, MSNBC wanted me to work for them, and so that's kind of how I got into it. And back then we were kind of called webmasters. We asked how to do some HTML as well. We didn't really know what was called user experience design. We were doing a lot of just, hey, let's try this. Well, it'll make more sense. We put this thing here or there, and then talk about like user flows. Like none of these things were studied in school. We
Right.
kind of just invented it. Yeah.
Right, right. So there was, I mean, it's weird because I think a lot of people who go into UX design, they start out in other forms of design. What was understood as a designer back in that time?
Wow, back at making pretty. Oh, sorry, making things pretty.
True.
But sometimes, I mean, even to this day, people think that that's what we do is make things pretty. But the reality is, user experience is actually your brand now, right? Because how many times have you used something and said, oh my gosh, this thing sucks or it doesn't work or whatever, right? That's because the user experience design is poor. Yeah, it takes a lot of coordination with engineers to make things work the way that you meant for the users to do. So my job is really to figure out a way to design so that we encourage the behaviors that our users, we want our users to do. So, make them happy, right? And then if they're happy, the business wins, right?
Right, absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. And so, as you've jumped into various companies, you mentioned that you are interested in creating a user-centered culture, right? How do you go about doing that, and what are some of the challenges or even pushback you've experienced by trying to cultivate that culture?
Yeah, I think again, first of all, I think most of the company don't really understand what user experience is.
Hmm.
And so they will advertise like, oh, we want to hire a UX or UI designer. And that's like a big red flag, like, oh, you don't really know what it is.
Hmm.
But this takes the entire company to really make it happen, user-centered culture. And it starts with from coming down from the top. Because if you don't have an executive sponsorship, then you're kind of on that on your own. You're on a little boat. But the thing is, if you start making friends, and I think this is where social currency comes in, very important to make friends with different people from different disciplines, especially engineers, because you need to be like this. Because what design affects how they need to build a code from the ground up, and how they build a code affects how we can actually deliver the experience. So I think making friends is one of the most important thing. And the other thing is to educate people. So when you say something like, hey, this doesn't work, you got to educate them on why. Or
Hmm.
if something works really well, educate them on why. So, over time, even though I am not in the room to speak for user experience, I have people who now understands it and can speak on my behalf, right? So I don't have to be the only person because in my opinion, everyone owns user experience,
Hmm.
not just me.
Right, right, right. So how do you make it work? Right. What are some of your own personal techniques to building those relationships with the engineers and with the teams to have them understand what you're trying to go for and ultimately create mutual success across the board?
Yeah, a lot of things that I would do is bring input, help people understand empathy. So I will bring them to user research with me. Like we will go on and interview customers together or interview potential users to really understand the pain points. What do they want? What do they need to be successful at their job and serve other customers or their end users? So that's one of it, helping people understand. Second thing, just make it really fun in the culture, right? So for example, what I did was one of this company I worked at, we needed to do a company photo. And so I suggested we do the Hadoken. Back then that was the meme. So I actually took some time to teach the entire company on how to jump up to the explosive thing. And we had the CEO punch the ground so it looks like we were exploding from the ground. So we went to the Pike Place Market and did it right in the intersection. And then later on, we found out there's two people that we didn't know who's also jumping in the photo. That was pretty hilarious. Yeah.
See, if I didn't actually live in Seattle for a while, I would think that's a surprising thing. But knowing Seattle, if anybody has an opportunity to participate in a Hadouken, it's probably there, right? That sounds like a pretty regular, like almost people are looking for those kinds of opportunities, right?
Yeah, they knew what we're doing.
yeah, exactly. And what was your relationship like with, your, I guess, colleagues after creating those experiences?
Well, I think this is kind of one of the examples of experiences I would create, right? It got better, right? We started going to lunches together, and I even went to a couple of rock concerts with my engineering friends because, we found something that we can, both talk about, or all of us can talk about. I even went to one with my CTO. We party with my CEO. So it's just like, it just feels like, my goal is to work on something valuable with the people I like. Something that people actually want. I just want to have fun. Right? What's the point, right? You got to make the environment fun. Everybody comes to work. It's not a fight. We're all friends. We're all having fun. We're drinking coffee together, and sometimes happy hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a riot. I mean, and I mean, you and I have hung out, so I can validate that. Like, you're always, everything goes to an 11 every time you're around, which is a wonderful thing. I'll put it that way. If you don't understand that reference, please just watch more films. I don't know what to tell you. My last question for you are really for people who are listening or watching this and wondering what they can draw away from our conversation, which is, what do you think, especially people who are developers, need to know when it comes to the kind of work you do? What user experience really does bring to the table, and just to make their jobs and your job a little bit easier?
Wow. So I want the developers to know that there is a reason for every pixel that we design on the page, and it has to do with serving our users. And that please don't be lazy and tell me that it can't happen, because I know for a fact that these engineers are hella smart, right? If they want to make something happen, and it will happen. And it's a collaboration between design and engineer to make the tool or product we're making function really well so that our users will love it. It's a collaboration. It's not just me dictating what to do, right? Engineers are smart. Give me your feedback. We're always going to ask you, yes, you want this, but what problem are you trying to solve with it? Yeah.
I like it when guests do their own hammer down just to nail their point in, and I'm here for it.
Or the old person shaking fists in the air.
Exactly. If that is what you do, then I get it completely. Alix, we've come to the end of our line of questioning, so I want to give you an opportunity to do a shameless plug of sorts. You can talk about the work that you're doing. You can talk about things that you're doing in your community. Anything that you think needs more attention. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I think Black Lives Matter, and I think that we gotta be great to each other, be kind to each other, and especially right now, me being an Asian person, let's help one another. You see something, you do something, and we're all people. Like, there's no reason for us to fight. So that is my cause right now. It's very important.
Wonderful. And in its own way, I mean, what is not the most necessary kind of user experience to create than one that's built around like collective safety, right? And for all of us to understand each other as a community and to have this, I mean, how is this still an issue, right? We can't do
Right.
great, beautiful things if we've got this kind of horrid stuff in our world. So appreciate that greatly. Alix Han, thank you so much for being on Educative Sessions. Really appreciate your time. And I want to thank everybody who is either listening or watching this episode as well. Thank you so much. You can check out more of our episodes on YouTube or on all of our major podcasting platforms. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about Educative, check us out at educative.io. So for all of us here at Educative, thank you so much and happy learning. Bye-bye now. Hope you enjoyed that session. This episode is available on YouTube and also on many podcast platforms. If you'd like to be part of Educative Sessions, the form is open now to apply via the link below. You can also email me at lee@educative.io. Lastly, don't forget to like and comment on our content. Be sure to subscribe for us as well. And of course, you can learn more about us at educative.io. Happy learning.